What's going on, everybody? So today I will be reacting to a video about some, in disguise Xbox fanboy, defending the Game Pass price decrease, quote unquote. Yeah, so let's get started.
I cannot believe it, but in the year of our Lord 2026, we just witnessed the impossible. We just saw a price go down, and not just any price, not like a hard...
It didn't go down. I don't care if this is considered a hot take. You guys are fucking retarded if you think that, Game Pass that used to be $20 with Call of Duty and everything, and every benefit that used to exist beforehand, going technically still up by $3 or $4 without Call of Duty or any of the things that actually used to benefit it. I'm sorry, bro. That's not the price going down. Yeah, okay, it went down from 30, but okay, anything would be considered a price down then from a 50% increase that they did from 20 to 30. Anything could look like a price cut at that point. Ridiculous.
Price or something that you might expect. No. We watched a subscription service price go down. Now, in case you all somehow haven't heard by now,
Didn't go down, like I said.
the Xbox management has gone over a massive switch up over the last few months. Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond are gone, and the new CEO is now Asha Shah. Now, she was a pretty controversial pick for the new CEO, and the main reason is because she was heavily...
Yeah, and also she's an Indian, a Nepo baby. Yeah, which, kind of controversial because the CEO is also Indian, and it seems like they're hiring more Indian workers than ever before because I guess they're cheaper labor. Yeah, it's not really looking good for you, for the entertainment industry, guys. It's not. It's really not.
Involved with Microsoft's AI push prior to being the Xbox CEO, so, I can't really blame anybody for being worried for that reason. But so far, things seem to be going pretty well under her rule.
AI bad, right? AI bad. Now, she did a horrible job, though, because they basically demoted her. So, yeah, I mean, if she screwed up on AI and she downgraded to an Xbox, whatever, right? An Xbox, the head of Xbox, basically, yeah, I guess we should be worried in that aspect. Well, not me, because I don't care about Xbox anymore. Yo. But yeah, hey, whatever.
Especially after this Game Pass price decrease. You can see right here, she tweeted out the other day, Game Pass Ultimate has become too expensive for too many players. Starting today, we're dropping the price from $29.99 to $22.99 a month.
I swear, this really reminds me of one of those gyms. I stole this from a Family Guy joke, but that is what all gyms do, right? Where they're like, oh, you know what, dude? Forget the $35 a month. We're going to do $25 a month or something like that, right? For the gym thing, even though that they don't really have that many things more than an average gym that's like $10 or less a month. You know what I mean? But they're pretending that they're giving you less money. I mean, that they're having you spend less money because they cut it down from their previous outlandish price. This is what it reminds me of with Game Pass. This is exactly what it reminds me of. It's like, god damn it. I swear, people are stupid. Of course, the console guys are the dumbest ones, right, to fall for this shit. But, the funny thing is that, Call of Duty isn't even going to be on this thing, which, obviously is like, duh, it's fine. Like, I'm not really against that, per se, like, of Call of Duty leaving it. But you had Call of Duty with it when it was $20 a month. Yeah, you're taking away stuff. Even if it went back down to $20 a month without Call of Duty, they still took something away. Okay? Let's not bullshit here. That's exactly what's happening. So, let me just say that again. They're still taking stuff away, even if it was $3 more. Or even if it wasn't $3 more than it previously was. So, retarded.
Call of Duty titles will no longer join Game Pass Ultimate on day one. They will join this tier the following holiday after launch, about a year later. Current Call of Duty titles will remain available to Ultimate subscribers. We'll keep learning and evolving Game Pass to better match what matters to players. Now, the response...
Yes, the Call of Duty titles that people leave after the same year. Well, actually, no, that's being disingenuous. People don't really leave it. Although, like, the next relevant Call of Duty is the next relevant Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Although I don't know why people really move on, in the as soon as the next Call of Duty game comes out, I don't know why people move on when the last Call of Duty is still being supported. Hell, the last 5 Call of Duties or more are still being supported, and it still has a decent amount of people. I don't understand why, really. You Call of Duty fanboys are really retarded too. Sorry.
So this has been overwhelmingly positive for the most part, and I actually ran a poll just to see what people were thinking, and yeah, it looks like the overwhelming majority of people are okay with Call of Duty not going to Game Pass day one if it means the service gets cheaper. Because
from your fan base. That's from your fan base. But either way, it's like, I agree with that. However, okay, then make it like $18 a month. Because again, like, not even 2 years ago, you used to have it for $20 a month with Call of Duty. You know? If you're taking Call of Duty out, make it $18 a month for Xbox. Like, ridiculous, bro.
Sorry, not sorry, $30 a month for a subscription service is too much. Or at least in its current form, it was too much. I'll elaborate on that in a second. But yeah, 97% of the people who...
No, in general it is. Like, especially with a service that has a bunch of old games for the most part, and a bunch of new games that suck ass, because, let's be honest here, Microsoft doesn't make good games anymore, okay? So, like, Game Pass is just an excuse, right? For them to dump their slop onto a subscription service to make you feel like you have more than you really do. Because their games suck ass. So, yeah. I mean, really, though, it's just kind of funny, though, because Xbox basically did grift off of retards who think more is better, basically.
Voted on that poll say, yeah, you know what, we're okay with... Or at least in its current form, it was too much. I'll elaborate on that in a second. But yeah, 97% of the people who voted on that poll say, yeah, you know what, we're okay with saving $7 a month if it means there's no more COD. And dude, some of these comments are hilarious. Joe from Seattle said, close one. Community seems real split here. Yeah, definitely not the most overwhelmingly one-sided poll I've ever run in my...
Yeah, no, it should not be split. It should be more people being pissed. Like, yeah, okay, it's not $30 anymore. Yeah, okay, that's a W, and we didn't need Call of Duty in there, sure, whatever. But you guys are missing the point. Just because that's $7 less now, that doesn't mean that it's not a bad value. It is a bad value. Like, okay, like I said in the beginning of this video, it had more features with $20 a year. Like, a year and something ago. What changed? It's a digital distribution, you know what I mean? It's not something that, they ran out of stock of, you know what I mean? So, it's like, Microsoft is really playing y'all. They are. Now that's a good step up, like, yeah, sure, for sure, like, taking $7 off. But even if they lowered it to $20, you still are missing Call of Duty from the last time that you guys had it, when you had $20 a month. Which even that is outlandish, but at least you had a modern game like Call of Duty on there. Like, you know what I mean? I don't agree with that value, but I'm just saying, that was a value. That was a better value than what you have today. With still, even $23, and you don't have Call of Duty anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know, man. It's a kick in the balls, basically.
YouTube career, very, very split. And then this guy said, if I'm real, I'm okay with COD not even existing. And everybody replying is just in full agreement. So yeah, people seem pretty okay with this, but...
blind Call of Duty hating. Well, actually, no, Call of Duty does suck now, but, all I'm saying is that, like, you guys love to hate on Call of Duty, but didn't you guys just rub the dick of like, Battlefield 6 not too long ago, which is also a piece of shit? Wow, weird, huh? Weird. It's the same damn game, okay? It's the same fucking game as Call of Duty, alright? Except without the ADHD movement. That's it. That's really it. It was a bare bones ass shooter that has less mechanics and less going on for it than fucking Battlefield Bad Company 2. Goddamn, like... You guys are fucking retarded. This is why gaming is dead. Because all of you are fucking dumb. All of you. You guys don't realize what you lost with the PS3 and 360 ages. That's why you guys are fucking dumb. And why gaming is dead. Like, it's really that simple.
I'm going to elaborate real quick on what I said when I meant that $30 in its current form was too much. In case you didn't know, there was a leaked memo, and I put leak in quotation marks because this was probably an intentional leak to get good press without actually saying anything directly. But yeah, there was a leaked memo from Asha talking about the potential for a flexible customization system in Game Pass. And this is what I think needs to happen personally. I think they need to bring Game Pass Ultimate by itself, with the day one games minus Call of Duty, obviously, back down to $15 a month. And I say by itself because...
But why? Again, why the minus Call of Duty? That is their first party title, right? So you owe it to your fans to put it in there. That's your first party title now. Big whoop. You know, like, I don't know, it's so weird. But like, also, it's like, yeah, that would be a better idea. Like, take out the stupid streaming. No one cares about that. No one cares about the stupid Xbox Play Anywhere crap. No one really gives a shit about playing Xbox games on a phone or streaming. Sorry, streaming those games on a phone. No one cares about that. So yeah, this is a good idea, admittedly. But either way, I don't care because I think Game Pass is a shitty like model, anyways. I do. I think it's a really bad precedent towards gaming. Why the hell would you want to stream or no, like have a subscription on your games? That's a horrible fucking idea. As you could see throughout Game Pass, you know, they upped the, you know, they took games out, they upped the fucking price by a lot, you know. Like, do y'all remember when it was just like, I think like maybe $10 to $12 on the Xbox console a month with a lot more games? Now it has less. Now it has less games with less features, and I don't know, man. It just has like overall less with more to pay because everyone else is raising their prices. Like, I don't like the modern gaming industry, honestly. I don't. And again, like, even if Game Pass was this heckin' wholesome deal and whatever, I don't want Game Pass to succeed. Why would any of you want Game Pass to succeed? I don't. Because that would mean, oh, now Ubisoft is going to do which they do, I know, but they're going to go heavily on it, you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to put their games on, on a PlayStation or whatever, which, okay, I know, all memes aside, like, let's just pretend that Ubisoft was a good company, right? I'm just saying, if they started taking their games away from, say, even Game Pass, you know, do you guys really think that won't happen? You're stupid if you think that won't happen. That's exactly what happened with Netflix. They were amazing and cheap before, with almost everyone's content on there, and now everyone's like, wait, we could do the same thing as Netflix. And then they took their content out and then made their own shitty streaming service with it. Disney Plus, Warner Brothers with their stupid shit, like they migrated so many times. Like it was fucking HBO Max, then it was Max, but then even before those two, it was DC, you know, the DC app, if you guys remember that. So it's like, yeah, no, I don't want subscriptions to be the fucking norm at all. We would have fucking enough subscriptions. Even outside of entertainment, you know, like, isn't there Walmart Plus and shit like that? Stop. No, I don't want any more fucking subscriptions. Thank you. Get that out of my goddamn games. My God.
In case you guys didn't know, part of the
or entertainment in general. Thank you.
reason the price increases have happened is because they've been forcing in other subscription services, like the Fortnite Crew thing and the Ubisoft Classic catalog, which, like, cool, but also you're just forcing those in so you can charge everybody more money, including the people.
Well, hold on, buddy. I thought, like, Game Pass was still this heckin' wholesome deal. You know, this is one of the grifters, by the way, Klutzy King, whatever the hell his name is. Klutzy King. He is one of the biggest advocates for fucking Game Pass, you know, and every time that someone talks shit about Xbox, he's like, well, Game Pass technically is still a good deal. So he's one of those Xbox grifting channels. Not that he really thinks it, but he is one of those Xbox grifting channels. Because not even that he is a fanboy of Xbox. That's not even it. His fanboys, his stupid fans, you know, are just a fan of hating Sony. Which, hey, I could get behind that too. I hate Sony too. I'm just saying, though, like, all you guys are stupid. So, what I'm trying to say is, his content is circling around, oh, defend this on Xbox, talk shit about this on PlayStation. That's all his shitty stuff is. And yes, even though that he criticized the price increase on Game Pass and the hardware before, yeah, I'll give him credit for that. But it's like, it's really due to the fact that, because the Xbox fanboys didn't feel that way, that's subscribed to him. Or that they felt that way, sorry. That's why. And it's just like, this is the same recycled shit. This is why I'm not subscribed to him anymore. He's just the same recycled shit over and over again. Oh, hey, yeah, this was bad about Microsoft, but what about Sony? Huh? What about, look what the fanboys are saying. I'm done. I'm checked out, dude.
Want those added, so you're just screwing over the people who don't play Fortnite and don't want to play the Ubisoft games. So what I think should be done is, again, base Game Pass Ultimate without Call of Duty, without any of the other add-ons, should be $15 a month. And then have a thing where you can customize your plan and add these other services for maybe $5 increments. Like, say you want to get Call of Duty with Game Pass Ultimate, so you pay $20 a month. Maybe you're somebody who plays Fortnite and you do want that Fortnite subscription in there, so you can add that in there for an extra $5. Or maybe you really do want to play Ubisoft Classics, add that for an extra $5. And then in total, if you include everything, it's $30 a month. But that's completely up to the player, and it's only if they actually want to pay for that. For the people who just want day one one Xbox games, but they don't give a damn about Call of Duty or anything else, just let them pay the $15. Personally, I think that's the best way of going about it, but obviously we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, overall, I think this is a very good thing, and it seems like the majority of people agree that getting rid of Call of Duty, if it means the price drops, is a good first step. However, I saw quite a good number of people on Twitter that were actually upset about this. That's right, we're complaining about a price drop now. And yeah, there's a trade-off, but it's
not a price drop, you fucking chill. It's not a price drop. It's not a price drop if it's $3 more and has less features.
Completely worth the trade-off. So I just want to run through a bunch of these tweets that I found because, God, they're dumb. And, you know, I figured it'd be funny to look at people complaining.
And so are you and your fan base, apparently, because you fucking think that $3 more from the last time of their shitty price increase, you know, before their shitty price increase with less features is a price drop. You really think that, bro? Yeah, whoever says that this guy is not an Xbox grifter, at the very least, is fucking lying to themselves. I swear.
About a price going down when, you know, this whole year, the issue has been prices going up. And you would think prices dropping would be a positive thing. And like I said, it's still not perfect. They still have more work to do, but this is absolutely a step in the right direction. Anyway.
Again, you see how he downplays it right there for his autistic audience? You see how he does that? Where he's like, okay, well, it's not perfect. Yeah, no, it's not perfect, you fucking moron, because it was never worth, not even $20, even with Call of Duty, by the way. It wasn't even worth that. You know? No shit, it wasn't perfect. Or now, for sure it's not perfect, you know? No kidding. Damn. Like, holy shit, man. These people are something else, you know? Like, no, it was actually pretty fucking bad. And you know what? Microsoft is still the worst out of the three because of their, you know, sad endeavor of trying to, you know, go full Game Pass, but they're also like ignoring their hardware. Like they're increasing the price of the hardware, which will bring less people into Game Pass because really primarily who's on Game Pass? People on Xbox. But how are they going to get more people on Game Pass on Xbox if no one else is willing to take Game Pass, right? Because obviously Steam is not going to have it. Nintendo's not going to have it. I already said this before in my other videos. They're not going to, like, Game Pass will not grow without their hardware is what I'm saying, you know? But here's Microsoft increasing the fucking prices of their Xboxes. So it's like, how are you supposed to put more people on there? Well, PC Game Pass. But it's like, yeah, PC Game Pass has stagnated because obviously Steam is a better fucking alternative. Why the hell would you even go with Game Pass on PC when you have Steam? It's just like, yeah, tell me that you haven't PC gamed without telling me you haven't PC gamed before. Really, it's amazing. Really, yeah. So, subscriptions are fucking cancer is basically the takeaway.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these tweets complaining that the price of
But again, it's not perfect. Oh, it's not perfect.
Game Pass Ultimate went down. Also, if you've enjoyed the video so far, please consider liking. And if you keep coming back to the channel, then consider subbing. Anyway, first off...
No, I will not. I actually disliked and unsubbed from you before because of how dog shit your content has become. Bye.
This guy says, this is a massive L. Most people only sub to Ultimate for day one Call of Duty access. Scrapping that just to save a few bucks is a terrible move. $30 a month was already a steal for what you get. Losing that immediate value makes the...
No, it wasn't. But I can see what he means. Like, technically speaking, I guess, like, let's see. Like, no, actually, like, Call of Duty was overall not really worth... But it's like, again, that is their first-party title. Like, you kind of promised that with your you know, Game Pass. So, that was a stupid idea. Not to mention that, again, they already had Game Pass for $20 a month with Call of Duty in it. I already said this 10 times in this video. I know. But it's true. So, I'm sorry.
Full service feel way less ultimate. Oh dear God, alright, it's one of these guys. This dude unironically thinks that $30 a month was a good price for Game Pass. Spoiler alert, $360 a
Hey, come on, man, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't perfect.
year for a subscription service is way too much, at least when it's forced. And again, this goes back to the issue I was talking about before, where the only way to get day one games was with this extremely overpriced subscription service. But if they had the customization, then, you know, that would be fine. But yeah, no, $30 was not a steal, unless you mean in the way that Microsoft was stealing from you. Also, to claim that most people only sub to Game Pass Ultimate for day one COD is laughable. Sure, I think there was a spike when Black Ops 6 came out, but that's because people were actually looking forward to that game. Not to mention, Game Pass had, what, like 30 million subs before Call of Duty was even there. So to claim that COD alone was the reason most people subbed is just ridiculous. Not to mention, so it's 23...
Yeah, like, here's another problem with that, too. Even if that was the case, you guys kind of saw how bad Call of Duty got, right? Like, ever since Microsoft took over it, right? I mean, it got worse. Sorry, it got worse than what it was. So, yeah, not looking good, man. It's like, ever since Microsoft took over, they actually made it worse, you know? Crazy.
Bucks a month now, 23 times 12.
And I do somewhat blame Game Pass for that. But it's also their dumbasses getting rid of Bobby Kotick, whatever his name is, you know? It's like, say what you want about the dude, but he knows how to fucking manage some shit, you know? He knows how to manage and knows how to make money. So the fact that they didn't keep him was a boneheaded ass move. And I think there's even a recent video of him admitting that Microsoft was stupid for buying Call of Duty for that much, or at least buying Activision for that much for Call of Duty mostly, because it's like he knew that the value would go down when Microsoft took over. So he was really smart for selling his company the way he did. Because let's be honest though, even though the Activision isn't his company, he did rebuild it pretty well. So technically is his company, at least in a recent way. So
is $276, meaning you're saving $84 a year with this price drop. And guess what? That $84 is more than enough to buy COD separately on top of having Game Pass Ultimate and still have a little bit of money left over. So this really is a win from all sides if you think about it. The people who don't want COD get to save $84, and the people who still want to play COD every year now have more than enough extra money that they're saving from this move to buy it. So yeah, I don't really see this as an L, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, I didn't mind paying $30 a month for Ultimate Game Pass. People are here just big crybabies, and you just lost me as an Xbox player because I'm canceling my Ultimate Game Pass.
good. They should have lost you as an Xbox player a long time ago, you fucking moron. What are you still doing on that dying platform? Like, I swear, you Xbots are something else. Why are you on a sinking ship? Why? Tell me. My God. Go to fucking PC. it's just so stupid how people are like, yo, I want to stay on Xbox because I'm a fanboy of it. Like, you're paying more for the same service when you could just buy the same service on PC for way less. Especially now they cut the price of Game Pass PC as well, and it's like down to $14 a month, right? How cucked are you guys on Xbox to the point where you will not move to PC, even though that has your favorite service for cheaper? You guys are fucking morons. You guys are morons. I'm sorry.
Because I won't be able to play day one Call of Duty games anymore. Crap that. Yeah, you tell him, buddy. Crap that. But like we were just talking about, you're saving $84 with this price reduction, so you can just use the money you're saving to buy Call of Duty. If you're canceling Game Pass Ultimate because Call of Duty's no longer on it, that seems to imply that you really only got Game Pass Ultimate for Call of Duty. Because if there were other games you played on there, you would realistically be fine with the price decrease at the cost of COD, because again, you'd be saving enough money to buy it anyway. But then that raises the question, why would you buy Game Pass Ultimate only for COD? Like, unless you only play COD for 2 months out of the year, that's just a complete waste of money. Because once you bought 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, you're spending more on that than you would have on Call of Duty. If this dude said he was decreasing his subscription, like to one of the lower tiers, because he still had to pay to play online, that would be one thing, but he said they've lost him as a customer because they won't let him pay $30 a month for Game Pass. What are we doing here? He would have a point if you were saving less than $70 a year with the price decrease.
Again, funny, you were still kind of shilling for Game Pass, even when it
was $30 too, so weird.
Because then it would kind of be a scam, like, oh, you decreased the price, but now we can't even buy COD with the extra money, so what's the point? But no, that's not the case, so I don't know. I do not know. People will actually complain about anything. It's kind of crazy. All right, next up, our good old buddy Yorch Torch, who, just a reminder for you, if you've been around this channel for a few months now, is the anti-woke man-child that had a mental breakdown over the candy Venom skin in Marvel Rivals, calling it a trans Venom skin, because apparently a skin can't have blue, pink, and white on it without it being trans. Anyway, you took away day one Call of Duty for a price drop. That is essentially a downgrade. Smart players won't fall for that trap while you keep learning. All right, I want you guys to go into the comments right now and tell me, do you think it's a downgrade that you don't get Call of Duty day one anymore, but you get to...
yes, because it was cheaper with
Call of Duty day one. So yeah, technically he's not wrong. You know, crazy.
Save $84 a year. Now, don't get me wrong, I do think the price should drop even more, because again, it's still technically more expensive than it was before Call of Duty.
Hey, wow, it only fucking took him 9 minutes
to admit that. Wow. He's not a Call of Duty, he's not an Xbox shill, though. No. Or at least like an Xbox Grifter. No.
It got added, but that's also because they have the Fortnite thing and the Ubisoft thing in there. So yeah, hopefully they get rid of those or make them optional, and then they drop the price even lower. But yeah, given the current state of Call of Duty, I wouldn't really consider it a downgrade, especially when it looks like this year is going to be Modern Warfare 4, which from everything we've been hearing about it up until now seems very not good. Plus it's Infinity Ward, and they haven't made a good COD game in at least a decade at this point. Like, after the fiasco that was Black Ops 7, I think people are good on missing out on COD, if it means they can save some money. And then he actually followed this up saying, calling Game Pass Ultimate's price drop to $22.99 a step in the right direction is the Stockholm Syndrome of subscription services. Ultimate was $14.99 in 2019.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Again, he's not wrong. You Xbox fanboys do have this Stockholm Syndrome. You do. Okay? You're willingly paying more because you're on a fucking shitty platform than just moving to PC. He's kind of right. I mean, I'm sorry.
US inflation since then, 29%. Price increase, 53% for just renting pixels. In the end, you lose. Look,
he's right again. Yeah, you are just renting pixels.
Which is what I said earlier. Yeah, like, you don't own these games. They could get away, they could get off the servers at any given point. He's right. Shit.
Again, I agree, the price needs to be dropped more, but this is absolutely a step in the right direction. Game Pass costs $84 less per year. How could that not be a step in the right direction? Nobody's saying this is where it should stop, or this is better than it's ever been. It should go back down to $15.99. It should be optional to add things like Call of Duty, Ubisoft Classic, and the Fortnite Crew subscription for a few extra bucks. That does need to happen. This is not perfect, but it is.
Honestly, here's the funny thing, man. All
of us are over here arguing about what should work, what shouldn't work with Game Pass. Here's my question: why do we need Game Pass? No, really, why do we need Game Pass? Even on Xbox, there are cheaper ways of buying games. Like, if you have the disc version, you can just buy the games used, boxed, in like GameStop or Mercari or whatever. I already said this before again. And it's just like, what are we doing here, man? We don't need Game Pass. We don't need a subscription. We don't need any of that garbage to make games cheaper. How about they actually make games more efficiently, and they stop taking 500 years to make a game? That will also help as well. Maybe we don't need Game Pass. Maybe instead Microsoft need to shift their focus on just making good, fun, cheap games. And maybe sometimes they could make that game that isn't cheap once in a while. This is a revolution, man, right? It's like
a step in the right direction. If the end goal is to get Game Pass Ultimate back down to its original price of $14.99, then yes, dropping it from $30 to $23 a month is a step in the right direction, because $23 is closer to $15 than $30. All right, next up, this guy says, Netflix is too expensive, so today we're removing movies from out the catalog that get above a 4-star rating and reducing the price. You're welcome, slave. First of all, minor spelling mistake, wrong, you're. Second of all, did this dude just call Call of Duty a 4-star or above game? Let's go ahead and see the reviews.
Well, it is a popular game. That's his point.
Like, you're being disingenuous again. just because you and your Reddit audience doesn't like Call of Duty, which I don't either. I don't like Call of Duty, especially because the value's not there. I actually like it for a logical reason, right? Because, there's Call of Duty Mobile, which is free, and has most of the features, if not all the features, of the previous Call of Duties, right? But they fucked up the zombies mode, admittedly. They did. But whatever. Other than that, though, it's a free game. And it has a lot of features from the previous Call of Duty, so just play that. Crazy. It's on mobile, ew. Yeah, you're a autistic mess if you fucking hate mobile gaming because it's mobile gaming. Goddamn. There's no helping your Redditor ass.
For Black Ops 7, and yeah, I would not exactly call Call of Duty a 4-star plus game. Now, if they removed something like Forza or Gears of War, then yeah, sure. That would be getting rid of one of their actually good franchises that people buy Game Pass for. But I would not be comparing Call of Duty of all games to the really good shows that Netflix likes to cancel. Now, if they remove other first-party stuff that isn't Call of Duty, then, we're gonna have a problem. Until then, though, I don't think many people are losing sleep over this. All right, so this next one, I'm not even...
And who's to say they won't? Again, they're taking games out
all the fucking time. Who's to say they won't take out those good games? Weird.
I'm gonna commentate on it. I just wanted to show it because this caught me so off guard last night. This dude just said $70 billion spent on COD for nothing, and then look at this video that he sent with it. What does this mean? I don't know whether to be...
Wait, what?
Aroused or horrified, but also, dude, you do know that they still have Call of Duty, right? And they're still selling it. It's not like they're shutting down Call of Duty or Activision. It's not coming to Game Pass Ultimate day one, at least as it currently stands.
But it used to.
Because putting Call of Duty on there made it so that Game Pass had to be too expensive. Anyway, now that that image is stuck in your head, this guy says, if by slashing Game Pass price you mean dropping it $7, then I guess that's a W. Whack IMO. Then Snapblast responds and says, it basically means Game Pass went up 15% instead of 50%. If you don't think that's a good thing, I'm not sure what to tell you. And then he responds and says, without day one COD, Game Pass is ass. No good games in there that justify the price they charge. And then somebody else responds, more people cancel because...
I think the existence of Game Pass is a complete
waste of time, but, he's kind of, again, not wrong, because, again, I don't like Call of Duty, but it's a popular game. It's a very popular game. And let's just be honest here, we could say that Microsoft games are not that valuable, okay? So, yeah, he's kind of right about that, too, actually, because Microsoft games do get a 1-star. They are shit. They're really buggy. They run horribly, And they overall are terrible games that sold like shit for a reason. So we could say that. We could objectively say that, So yeah, he's not wrong. In fact, that's probably why they made it Game Pass, if I'm being honest. Again, it's quantity over quality, people. It really is that simple. It is.
Because of the price jump, then bought because of COD. Most people don't play COD anymore. And then the original guy responds and says, I legit only use it for COD. Okay, saying that there's no good games besides COD in Game Pass is absolutely insane. You have Forza.
That isn't old, bruh. That isn't old.
Again, being disingenuous here. Like, okay, I'm not obviously Black Ops 6 or 7, whatever was the recent one with the giant guy who was like an illusion, whatever the fuck, right? Like whatever with that ugly ass Indian slop Call of Duty. I get that is shit. That is a horrible game. However, it's still better than most of the shit that Microsoft made. And objectively, I could say that again. Because it sold better, it looks better actually, and yeah, than most of the Microsoft slop that they made within the past 5+ years. So, so again, technically speaking, it is still a higher quality game, which is sad as fuck. That is sad.
You have Gears, you have Halo, the Doom games, at least the Dark Ages, Cyberpunk, Death Stranding, not to mention all those previous COD games like
Yeah, but even Doom fell off though. People didn't even like
the 2018 one more than the 2016 one. So actually, yeah, Doom kind of fell off as well, actually. And then especially the latest one, which is a big pile of shit for $70, runs really horribly. Like, shit. Didn't have a bunch of, like, graphical fuck-ups. No, not graphical fuck-ups. It had a lot of performance issues, right, on consoles and PC. If you didn't have the right PC. So it's like, yeah, actually, no, even that fell off too. So, oh man, I don't know.
Warfare 3, Black Ops 6, and Black Ops 7, if you like them that much, they are all staying on Game Pass. They're not being taken away. And if you only use Game Pass for COD, then again, I have to assume, or at least hope, that you only play COD like 2 months out of the year. Because if you're only using Game Pass for COD and you play more than 2 months, you're scamming yourself. You're paying more than you would if you just bought the game outright. At that point, if you can't outright buy the game at launch, you might as well just save your money and buy it later when you can. Then again, I don't know if you thought that far ahead, given the fact that you think that Game Pass is ass without COD. Alright, next up, this guy says, a whole $7 price drop. Not really sure what I'm going to do with all this extra money. Why buy the game when you can pay more?
He's kind of right. Whole $7. It reminds me of that fucking what is it, the Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode where they focus on Carl and he like tipped the guy like a couple of cents and he's like, wow, all this mine, I don't know what to say, and then he's just being a sarcastic asshole about it. Wow, a whole $7. I'm not sure what to do with all that money.
Or to rent them, as I always say. Well, Mr. Smartass, it is $7 a month, which translates to $84 a year. That's roughly enough for one new AAA game or 2 or 3 indie games, depending on the price, obviously. And statistically speaking, over 60% of gamers buy 2 or fewer new games a year, meaning the money they'll be saving from Game Pass Ultimate could...
Yeah, probably because the games suck. But the games that they do like,
they buy every year. Like, it's not that hard to figure out, dude. Again, Game Pass is just a waste.
Cover that 1 or 2 games that they're gonna buy for that year, or they don't have to spend the money at all and they can just save the $7 a month for the future, whatever they might need it for. Yeah, $7 by itself might not be a lot in this economy, but over time it adds up. And like, let's just say you're buying something from the store, for example. Would you rather save $7 on that item or not save $7 on that item? It's like when PlayStation fanboys will argue, oh, Sony only made like $1 billion on PC and that's nothing compared to what they make on their console. And it's like, would you rather have an extra $1 billion or not an extra $1 billion? Personally, I'd rather have an extra $7.
but again, you could argue that Game Pass is taking away money from
From them. Like, not that because, the game exists on there, although kind of does. Like, again, Call of Duty being on Game Pass means that Xbox guys won't buy it, Like, it really is that simple. Or it doesn't add much value to Game Pass, so putting it in there, it was a waste, So it's like, either way, Game Pass can actually take away from them. So, yeah. Even because of the server costs and everything, so just to let you know.
A month and not have it. All right, next up, this guy says, so basically Xbox raised the price of Game Pass Ultimate and quietly removed the main reason people justified it as day one Call of Duty drops. What do you mean they quietly removed the main reason? They outright said, yeah, we're dropping the price and the caveat is no more day one COD. Look, Xbox has a big communication problem with a lot of things, but they were crystal clear on this one. Game Pass will be $7 cheaper a month, but no more Call of Duty day one. You'll have to wait about a year to get Call of Duty now. I am all for making fun of how bad Xbox has been with communication in the past, but this is not one of those times. And again, this misconception that the main reason most people...
Again, you see how he, like, really downplays it?
Okay, but the thing is that, like, he's saying that Call of Duty is still one of the prime factors as to why they raised it. So why is it still 23 instead of, like, 15? You know what I mean? Why? They're not even making first-party games recently. You know what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like Sony as well. Like, how do we really know if PC, or, like, Sony's stopping PC ports if they're not making any more fucking first-party games right now? It's kind of like Microsoft. What was the point? What's the point of really Game Pass being the price that it is at all? with or without Call of Duty, when they are barely making any fucking games, and they're canceling most of them recently. So yeah, actually, a fair point. Like, what is actually why is Game Pass the price that it is right now when Microsoft is barely releasing any games? Weird.
Had Game Pass was for day one COD. If that's the case, then why is this decision being overwhelmingly praised? And why did Game Pass have so many subs before
Because you Xbox guys are fucking retarded. That's why.
COD was a day one thing? And most importantly, how come when it was announced that the Game Pass price was going to be raised to $30 a month, so many people flocked to cancel their subscriptions that the page crashed? It would not surprise me at all if we see a pretty decent boost in Game Pass subscriptions now that this has gone into effect. But we'll have to see. Only time will tell. Anyway, guys, with all that being said, that is all I've got for this video.
Thank God. Anyways, yeah, so please be sure to like, comment,
Subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.